friends? Do we have any friends?
Hey everybody, what's up? Did I remember to unmute myself? Hallelujah. That's always good when I don't forget that. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday evening. I'm so excited to be here again. I was just talking with someone in the chat about that all day long on Tuesday, I look forward to this. And it's usually like a mad dash until right about now. And it's just fun. It's nothing but fun. Can you guys hear me all right? I guess I should ask that earlier, but I'm excited to talk to you. Haven't talked to you, well, most of you all day. Some of you in chats, maybe depending on the work day. Um, but I'm really glad you're here. I really appreciate you guys being here and the whole thing. I'm super excited about our guest. We have Distinct here tonight, and super excited about that. Before we get started, I wanted to tell you guys you'll see a thing in the chat for this, but for my birthday, I am it's next month, and so for my birthday, I wanted to raise money for a charity, and given my own personal experience, but also just the state of the world right now, I have chosen two mental health charities to raise funds for. In the US, that association is NAMI, and in the UK, it's Mind. And I picked those two places because that's where the biggest portions of my audience come from. And so the link that I just posted in the chat and that we'll be going through on timers will take you to either your choice to the donation page for NAMI or the donation page for Mind. And the important thing to know about those is that the money does not come through me if you donate there. It goes straight to the charity. And the Tiltify, if they take any portion of it, they don't take a lot. So uh, that is a really good way to get bang for your buck. I mean, we love Twitch, and honestly, I think the percentage that Twitch takes of like bits and subs and all of that, I think that's totally fair for what they do and what they provide. But it just is a smaller, a $5 sub results in significantly less actually coming to me to then give to the charity. Basically, everything I raise through Twitch will also be going to these charities in March and April. So, super excited about that. Hey, my lurkers, I'm just happy you're here. Gooey French Toast and DJ, I'm going to say Spade, guessing, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys are here. Alan, good to see you. I don't think I've ever seen you in here before. I love that. You keep odd hours just like Burner. Oh, everybody, Burner finally went affiliate and he has super cool emotes. And so, if you feel like it, you should check him out. Burner, you should throw your emotes in the chat for sure. I'm super excited for him about that. I think a lot of us have been harassing him for a long time about that. And apparently, Scam Circuit came into his chat with like 50 people harassing him to do it, which finally got him to do it, which gives me an idea because I really want to have Burner on stream, and multiple people have told me I should have Burner on stream. So maybe we need to get like 50 people to go into Burner's stream and tell him tell him to come on here, and maybe then we can you know bully is a strong word, but strongly encourage him to come on. So good to see everyone. I'm not going to go through all of your names, but know that I see all of you and I appreciate each one of you so much. I know that everybody says that, but I'll tell you right now, every streamer says that because it's true. And I know for me that the nature of my show is that, my guests are giving me 2 hours of their time, and it needs to be worth their time to do that, right? And the way that it's worth their time is by you guys being here. So the fact that you guys show up and watch really means that I can keep doing this thing that I find really fun. And hopefully you guys do too. I think you do because you show up. So, anyway, let's talk about Distinct. So, Distinct hails from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, our lovely neighbors to the north, the hat of North America. We love you guys. Um, she has a lot of cool stuff about her that I found out today. She placed fourth in Calgary's Next Top DJ, which I'm dying to talk to her about how that works. Um, her Facebook has this really cool thing on it where it says that she's a drum and bass DJ with a dream to take over the world. And I have to tell you, with the state of the world right now, I myself am in full support of a female drum and bass DJ taking things over for a while, and we'll see how she does. Um, she also is a producer. I found her SoundCloud today. I was listening to it, getting was listening to it while I was getting ready for this. So let's bring her in. If I can remember how to do it, I changed my monitors. Hey, girl.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. You might be a
Awesome.
little quiet. Chat, can you guys hear her all right? Talk to him, lady.
All right. Maybe I should just speak up. We always say that in the chat, just speak up.
Right?
A little bit better?
Yes, yes. Oh, I hate that you have to lean over though, but yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be
I'll just move it this way.
fine. Well, how are you? How was your day getting here to this moment?
You know what? It's been a day, you know. It's
Yeah.
yeah, definitely something where I work really hard at my job. My job is 8 to 10, sometimes even 12 hours per day. And other than that, it's just a job where I'm talking a lot. So I'm a sales rep for a telecommunications company. So I'm that person who calls you and tries to sell you things on the phone all day. So it's not something where I can kind of like sit and just like hang out at my desk or not really talk to people all day. I have to
Right.
give a lot of myself up in
Yes.
order to do stuff, which is sometimes, I get to the end of the day and I go, "Oh my god, I got to stream tonight where I got to give more of myself." And I'm like, "Maybe I should just go to bed." But I haven't done it yet. So
Well, I mean, I don't know what your experience is like. You tell me, but like for me, A, I never thought this was something I would do, and but B, it has been shockingly like energizing and therapeutic and just a really good experience. What's it been like for you since you started streaming?
well, to be honest, I wasn't going to stream at all because I thought that it would be a lot of work and a lot of time. And I'm like thinking, like, I got this new job, I've got kids, I'm like crazy busy. I don't need another thing on my plate. But I started streaming with a couple of local crews up here in Calgary, just, well, I guess in Canada every couple of weeks or so. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. And then all of a sudden, after New Year's, I decided, well, it looks like it's pretty easy to get affiliates. So let's just do that and
Mhm.
see what happens. And
Right.
now I have spent an extra $1,000, maybe even more on my studio. And now I've got this crazy green
Yes.
screen and 4 decks. And I don't really know what
Yes.
happened. I wasn't going to do it.
Your green screen is so much fun during your stream. I love it. You guys have so many fun little scenes. I
Mhm.
think I'm partial to Mario for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like
is
the
it
Mario one.
Mario and Luigi that are like kind of dancing by the flagpole there
Yeah.
while you're DJing?
Yeah, it's like the old school little Mario one. I've got one with Donkey Kong. I don't know. I love video games. So I
Nice.
was thinking maybe I should make a couple of new ones.
Nice. Very nice. Um, uh, oh, more Canada crew. Excellent. Glad you guys are
Woohoo.
here. Um,
Big ups.
So when did you start streaming with these folks in Calgary that you were doing every couple of weeks?
Maybe like September, October. It was just something that
Okay.
I did kind of like to kill some time, really,
Yeah.
because I just couldn't really be bothered to set up my own Twitch channel and it kind of looked complicated. And I was just like, you know what, just doing this every couple of weeks is enough for me to kind of get my outlet out there. And then
Right.
probably December, I started to stream a little bit more frequently. And then January, I was like, well, I'm just going to go for this Twitch thing and kind of go for it. And I think I affiliated January 13th. So.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'm glad you did. So, I had no idea who you were. So, like, let's just first of all give props to the size and volume of the community here in Twitch, right? That like I only saw you. When were you on Inside the Ride? The 916 Junglist Inside the Ride?
Yeah, second or third week of January, I think. I don't know, sometime in January, and it was crazy. I didn't expect at all to get on this crazy show, and I didn't really understand how many people were going to be there because I was talking with Gypsy Kid, who was the person who had booked me, and he was like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, like 70 people." I'm like, "Well, that's more than I've ever played for on the internet before, so this is going to be great."
Right,
And all of a sudden, there's
right.
130 people there. I can't read the chat. I'm like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" And then I picked up like 100 new followers and I was like, maybe I should take this seriously.
Yeah. Well, so, again, like I think by January, I had been pretty rabid in Twitch for at least 3 months.
Mhm.
I can't remember the exact like date that I got really nutso into it, but it was right around September. And I had never heard of you. I'd never seen you. And like this community obviously compared to, Twitch and like these gamer streams and all of that is extremely tiny, right? But
Mhm.
like certainly for me and everyone I've talked to in the US, it's pretty big compared to like what we've been experiencing, say the last 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but So yeah, I was on Inside the Ride. I was in the Zoom room, which I've never done before. Just randomly happened to do it that night. I guess I had had enough to drink that I I decided it would be a good time to go
Uh,
for it. And all of a sudden, like I don't even props to everyone that night because everyone was amazing. I've never heard a bad DJ on Inside the Ride. Gypsy Kid does a great job booking it. But I don't even remember who the person was on before you. But like the second you started, I was completely captivated. Like even I was listening to your the short mix that you have up on SoundCloud where it was what did you call it? Like insert clever name here or something
I
like
think
that.
that's what I called it. Yeah, insert clever name here. I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. So I was listening to that and thinking about the fact that, a lot of what you play is not necessarily stuff that I would typically like reach for, right? That I would
Mhm.
typically go for, which again, that doesn't mean anything. Big up that drum and bass has a million different things, a million different flavors. I love that. Sometimes you're in the mood for, a really angry tune and sometimes you're not, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, but you just have this energy. Guys, I don't know if you in the chat have seen Distinct Spin, but tonight she's going to step out a few minutes before we end so that she can get her stream going and we're going to raid into her. All of you need to see her. Like, you have such a good time while you're doing it. So, talk to me about how you started DJing.
Oh man, this is a fun one because
Yes.
so I spin drum and bass now, but I started DJing when I was 16, so that was 12 years ago now. Just dating myself. It's all good. But so 12 years ago, I worked at a roller rink in Calgary here, and
Nice.
so
Nice.
at this roller rink, they had DJs, obviously, so we could skate around and listen to 80s music. Oh my god, I'm really good at some 80s music.
Yes.
And I wanted to DJ because I'd worked there for about a year, and I was like, "Well, this is kind of BS, you know, I wanna put my own songs on when we're roller skating so I can skate to what I like," which was
Right.
alternative. I don't know why I thought that that would be good skating music. Uh, but, I went to the manager and I said, "You know what, Rick? I'd really love to come and DJ one of the nights, like, not a busy night. I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanna play music." And,
Right.
he said, "You know what? We haven't had a female DJ here in the last 10 years, and you're probably not gonna be the next one." So that's you know what,
Wow.
people joke about it, but yes, that was actually said to me. And I asked why, and he said because my voice wasn't powerful enough to do the announcements to tell people about speed skating and all that sort of stuff. So he didn't want to put me, on the microphone in case something had to be conveyed. And I said,
Mhm.
okay. Well, could we get someone else to maybe do the announcements? And he said, no, it's too much work. And that was that. And eventually I kind of thought that it was a bullshit reason, because it is, let's be real.
Yeah,
And I
Rick.
had a couple of my buddies that DJ'd there, and I just literally would stand up with them and I would watch what they did. We had two ways to DJ. One of them was Serato with vinyl, the
Mhm.
turntable vinyl, and then one of them was a program called BPM Studio that
Okay.
was just a little dial and a button that was for play and stop. And that was how you DJ'd. So
Okay.
I eventually learned in one of the afternoons. Adam actually let me sit there and DJ with him, and he loaded Barbie Girl and Blue by Eiffel 65 on the two decks, and he said
Yes.
mix these, and then he said, I'm going for lunch. See you in 30. And then he just left. And I was like, oh my God, there's like a whole 6 10-year-olds on the floor, and if I blow this, I'm gonna ruin someone's birthday party. So I mixed Barbie Girl and Blue, and they sound really good together, in case you have ever
Yeah.
wondered.
You know, never say never, man.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it's a weird story, because people are like, "Oh, so, like, you used to spin, like, Katy Perry?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And the first time I went to a bar when I was 18, I spun Katy Perry electro remixes, and I thought I was doing a really good job. And I had
Yeah.
someone from the scene actually say, "Hey, you're a pretty good DJ, but your music kinda sucks. So here's a folder of Fidget House, which is kinda what you're spinning now. Do you wanna give that a
Mhm.
shot and see
Mhm.
how you feel?" And I liked it. I thought it was kind of fun. I'd never really heard music like it before. And
Mhm.
so I spun that for maybe like 4 or 5 months, but he was a drum and bass DJ. And so I went to a drum and bass show, and I was like, oh my God, these people must be on drugs. This is so fast. I do not
Yes.
know what is happening, but like I'm used to house music, right? So there's this crazy beat, like boom, boom, and people are like moving really
Yes.
fast and kind of like sitting at the back doing that head nod thing. And I'm like,
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what I have done, but I am somewhere where I shouldn't be. And Chris Prof from 403 DNB dropped a song, We Can Have It All, the Sigma remix. And I
Mhm.
was like, holy fuck, I get it. I get this music. And I danced, and then all of a sudden I played drum and bass. That was the end of that.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. Okay, so who is this guy that like, okay, can we talk about the fact that any DJ would come up to you and say, "Hey girl, like you have talent, you need better music. Here, have some."
That
Like
was, yeah, I
that's
know.
amazing.
Who would have done that in this day and age? Most people would have just slammed
Yeah.
me and said, "Oh my God, this girl walked into this underground club and played some remixes of some top 40 shit. Who does she think she is?" I didn't know. I didn't even hear of
Right.
electronic music really until I was 18. I know that that's a sin in this day and age, but I listened to rock music. I was brought up not listening to anything electronic. My dad always used to tell
Mhm.
me that rap was crap and rock is a music because you play a real instrument.
Right,
So lots
right.
of internal battling when I realized that you could play an instrument with your computer too.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, I love that. I love that. I don't so here, I'm just gonna date myself. I don't even know what fidget house is, man. But now I wanna go find out. Like, I'm into it. Like, I'm totally into it.
Man,
Um,
it's fun music. It's like it's like electro, but like stripped down and like wobblier. Oh
ooh,
man, I don't even remember any of the artists that I used to have, but I'll give you a big list of some of my old music and check it out.
yeah,
It's fun.
yeah, yeah. I am into that. Okay, so let me sort of refresh myself. So about 16, you had your experience with Rick
Mhm.
about the DJing at the roller rink.
Yes.
And you persevered and got to it, you know. And then were you saying you were 18 when you had that gig at the underground club and you played the Katy Perry remixes and got the fidget house?
Yeah, it was so 18. It was like an open decks night. It was run by a crew called
Okay.
Base Bed. I don't know. Obviously, that means absolutely nothing to anyone except for me. But I do remember it was run by Base Bed, and it was like an open like Tuesday nights, I think that they had it. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just dropped in one time. And yes, I was 18 because no one goes to clubs before they're 18, right?
You were
I
definitely
actually was
18.
18, I promise.
Um, so, were you like, did you have equipment at home that you were practicing with, like leading up to that? Or,
No, I
like
was
how much time
practicing at
had you?
the roller rink. So
Nice.
I would stay late until they would have speed skating practice, and I would
Mhm,
DJ in the booth, just in the booth so I could hear it, and
mhm.
I would stay until, like, midnight just practicing for these open decks that 4 people would show up for, and that's kinda how I got started, and then I ended up purchasing a set of Stanton turntables with what was it called? Final Scratch? I think, like, old, and it never worked for me, and I remember messaging the guy from Kijiji or Craigslist or something and getting really upset at him because I couldn't figure out how to make it work on my computer. But I don't think I actually ended up using those except for vinyl when I had
Mhm.
a couple of pieces of vinyl that I could mix back and forth just for fun, and I remember doing that in my bedroom when I was, like, yeah, 18.
Wow. Wow. Um, okay, so tell me about what it was like, what made you decide, "Okay, this is the time I'm gonna go to these open decks," and then what was it like getting yourself there and having that first, you know, set?
Honestly, so I went at the recommendation of one of my friends who also spun at the roller rink, who used to go to these giant festivals, which I'm going to be honest, he came back from a festival called Motion Notion and he was so out of it for like 3 days. I was like, there's nothing good that happens at those things. So I gotta be careful. uh, but he said, no, my crew is holding this open decks. You should come and you should start meeting people in the scene because I mean you're old enough now that you could go and play at clubs. So at his behest, I took a train downtown Calgary, and I remember, like, I think that's the first time I was ever at a bar. Except I think once I went with my dad, but they didn't ID me, obviously, because I'm with my dad.
Right.
But I remember not knowing what to order, so I Googled what I should order for a drink before because I didn't know what was popular or what I should be drinking. And I remember the first time that I got up on the decks, I remember my hands were shaking and I like felt like I was going to puke. Remember sitting in the bathroom for a couple of minutes before I actually had to go on and just going, "Oh my god, like am I going to make it through this?" And I think I drank 2 drinks and then fell asleep at the table after my set.
Oh, yes. I remember my first gig, my hands were shaking so bad I could barely put the needle on the record, like, oh, it was so scary, so nerve-wracking. Um, but how did it go? What did it feel like that first time?
Everyone says that their first like, the first time they DJ, that's when they know that they want to DJ, and I was really second
Mhm,
guessing myself for, like, days and weeks and probably even months afterwards. I was like, "Should I really be doing this?" Like, it caused such a stressful reaction in my body. I was like, "Is this really worth it?" But once I started to get a little bit more familiar with what it was like to
mhm,
be outside of a booth DJing to myself,
right.
and I started to actually meet a couple of people and realize that these people aren't half bad. It became a little bit easier because it had something to look forward to, the connection and everything that the community was doing, really with these events. And
Mhm, mhm.
as I got better too, because to be honest, I was an okay DJ. Maybe. As I got better and I got a little bit more confident in my skills, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is actually a lot of fun. I like being out. I like DJing. I like seeing the people that I'm here with." And it
Yeah.
became a little bit easier. I still shake a little bit when I DJ. I'll shake today before I get on stream, and none of you guys
Yeah.
are here. So,
No, but, like, the whole flipping internet, like,
mhm.
I feel so lucky because I have you here and, like, every day, well, except for Saturdays, which I don't know why I'm not nervous on Saturdays, but whatever. I have someone that I can talk to, so I can kind of, like, forget
Mhm.
that anyone could be watching, but, no, I totally get that. I absolutely get that.
Mhm.
Okay, so obviously at least one person in Calgary's drum and bass scene was super dope giving you that folder of music, right?
Yeah.
And I love that they had a folder of music that wasn't drum and bass because, like, man, when I started, we were fucking like, screw other music, blah, blah, blah. So, like, that's impressive. So, obviously, someone there was cool, right? Tell me about what the scene was like there when you got started.
It was actually so it's Calgary is a really interesting scene. When I started, dubstep was the thing. You remember when Flux Pavilion was really big and all that sort of stuff. So there was a crew that I'm actually part of now, which is kind of fun because they're probably one of the first crews I'd heard of called Supreme Hustle. They were hosting like these 700, 800, 900, 2,000 people massives with pretty much dubstep and yeah, trance. Yeah, pretty much. So that was the big music there, but drum and bass was still fairly underground. Now, we actually were really lucky in Calgary because there was a couple of years where drum and bass was actually probably the most popular electronic music. So we would be able to book out, Andy C at the Palace for, 1,200 people to show up, or shows
Wow.
like that where we would have big attendance. We would still have all of our friends there, and we were actually showing some of the younger crowd, I guess people like me at that time, what drum and
Mhm.
bass was. And it's funny that you
Mhm.
mentioned that your crew was really like, drum and bass. Most of my friends are really like that. Drum and bass is kind of like their thing. As soon as you talk about like
Mhm.
house music or anything else, they're like, we
Mhm.
don't do that here. We do drum and bass. So I think it's a
Not in this
universal
house.
thing. Yeah, not in this house, not in this city, that sort of thing. But I think it's become a little bit more of a lifestyle for a lot of these people versus
Yeah.
just, a type of music. Like it's actually a part of what they do. So I get it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
but no, Calgary has been really blessed. Even in the last, well, obviously not the last year. Let's be really honest. There's no music that's popular
Yeah.
out there right now except for on the
Yeah.
internet.
Big up the
But
internet.
yeah, very true. But pretty much for the last couple of years, we've still had a fairly strong following. We can book out a couple hundred people. You have a headliner, you'd get like 400 or 500. We have a pretty strong nightlife just because of the age, like the age of most of the people who are going out, and a
Mhm.
significant portion of the people who are a little bit older, more experienced in event throwing, are still doing the drum and
Mhm.
bass events. But I think probably I'm really hoping that I'm not right, but it does kind of look like we're probably going to have a little bit less listenership and viewership, at least over the next couple of years, while we get some more younger people in the scene. Or,
Mhm.
who knows? There might be a couple of promoters who are just gearing up to really go hard as soon as everything kind of opens up again. I would love to see
Right.
that. I'm not a
Right.
promoter. I can barely get my clothes on in the morning. So, organizing a grand scale event where I have to make people happy and also not bankrupt myself, not my thing.
Yes. Yes. I look back at my friends that were throwing events and I'm like, "A, where did you get the money? And how were you brave enough to roll the dice like that?" I mean, hype train, what's up?
Wow, that's
Thank you for
exciting.
the yeah, thanks for the sub, no request, and all the bits, DJ C, um, Burner, and Alan, 100 bits each. Come on.
Thanks,
Uh,
guys.
you guys are amazing. No request. Love you all so much. And gift subs, man, you guys are fantastic. Okay, I have to ask you, like, so for me, this thing is really cool. Like what's happening now, but not because of money. Like what's really cool to me about this is like I feel like you may be too young for this reference. I feel like Sally Field when she got her Oscar, she was like, "You like me, you really like me." Like she was just overwhelmed, you know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel when something like this happens. So what has it been like for you being an affiliate and all of a sudden people can pay you for what you do?
Oh my gosh. It's kind of bizarre, So to be honest, I haven't been like the play for free type of DJ for quite some time. Yeah, I'll do it for my friends and everything like that. But
Right,
usually at
right,
least, a couple of drink tickets, $10, just something, right? So it kind of
right,
feels
right.
a little bit interesting to know that, looking at my bar gigs over the past, 2 years, let's say 2 years, obviously. And what yeah, I've been able to do on Twitch, the the return is really, really similar versus the time input. Because if I go to a show, I'm there at 9, I don't leave until 1, I
Right.
spin for an hour, I spend $20 or $30 drinking or buying other people
Mhm.
drinks. And so I usually end up pretty, even or net negative when you look at it on that sort of scale.
Right,
Versus
right.
I'm at home, beer is really cheap at my home bar.
Yes, it
And when
is.
I'm done, I just stumble upstairs and go to bed. So that's been really interesting, and it blows my mind. Like, people have been DJing on Twitch for like a year, 2 years, and I'm like, why didn't I just pick this up to start with? This is like everything I like about DJing, without all the things that I hate about DJing.
Right. Right. Like controlled environment. And so this is one thing I've been curious about because I haven't been a DJ, like a regular DJ in like 20 years, right? But I remember well the 1 hour set. And I see every day on Twitch people are doing like if someone does a 2 hour set, that is like a really short set, right? Like so people are doing 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours regularly. Um and I have like I'm curious what it's like for you to be able to, go longer and like have more control over how much time you're actually playing.
It's kind of fun because, sometimes you get to the end of a set and you're like, fuck, I wish I could spin for longer. Like, I got more stuff to throw
Mhm.
down. So that
Mhm.
part has been really good because, I'm my own timekeeper. If I want to spin till 11 o'clock, I'll spin till 11 o'clock. No one can tell me anything different. But
Yeah.
it is a little bit. It's really, honestly, it blows my freaking mind when people are like spinning. What was it? E Town Junglist. So what was it on like Saturday or Sunday? I popped into a stream because I'm up at 6 a.m. and I like exclamation mark uptime, 8
Yeah.
hours and 30 minutes. What the
Yeah.
hell, dude? It's 6 in the morning. Like, you are nuts. Go
Yeah.
to bed.
Yeah. Speak of the devil.
Oh,
Welcome,
E Town
E-Town Jungle.
Junglist. That is
We're glad for you to
hilarious.
be
Hi,
here. I
buddy.
know. Right on time. Right on time.
Right on fucking time. But no, I love it. I think that it's incredible. But I
Yes.
spin with Ryan because I don't have to spin for the whole 2.5 hours. Okay.
Right.
I'm
Right.
exhausted after, like, especially with I'm like pulling tracks. I've got 4 decks now, which you would be surprised at how fast you go through tracks on 4 decks.
Yeah.
And then, it's 30 minutes and I'm like, I need a break, or at least can I like shotgun a beer or something? Like, let's just chill. I don't know. It's going to be really weird when we go back to actual gigs because, I spend a lot of time talking. I spend a lot of time, like, I just stand behind the decks and drink and we play pretend games where we mash marbles together. Like, you can't do that at a club. Like, I have no idea why I didn't do this earlier. It is so much fun.
Yes. Yes. Well, and like I remember probably the longest gig I ever played was like for me the hour was crazy because I always felt like um by the way this bits thing like I hate this is very I'm very torn here because like I respect you and your time and then I also respect them and this insanity that's going on in this chat right now. Thank you guys
No, go
so much
go
for
shout
this.
out some
And
people. Seriously, did we just like
yeah,
hype train?
yeah, we're on level 3 right now. Insane.
Sweet! That's
I
amazing.
know, right? So yeah, I'll tell you what, they must love you because I haven't had a train.
Yay.
in
That's crazy.
Which makes me happy. That makes me really happy. Like, I have to say, one of the things I really like about doing this is the opportunity to basically big up people, and maybe people will come to know you and um, get to know you.
Mhm.
Uh, I I can't remember if it was. I think it was Tuesday when it was here. We rated into you, and like I've really been trying to rate into people that maybe at that moment they don't have a lot of people in the stream, or I know that like they're not as big as maybe I think they deserve to be. And so we rated into you, and I shared it with you. But guys, I had someone come to me and say like they sent a message like, thank you so much for rating into distinct. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Okay, guys, ketamine, Dr. Ketamine Cat, what the 500 bits? Wow. Wow. Okay. No requests. Ketamine Cat. Oh my God. So many bids. Alan,
Holy
LM1, you
crap.
crazy lunatic. Guys, if you don't know LM1, LM1 is the label boss for Off World Transmissions, which, if you don't know Off World Transmissions, get to know. He releases the most beautiful, like, liquid and atmospheric, but also like a lot of that sort of like minimal deep drum and bass that's like maybe with like thicker than you think of liquid, but it still has like that smoothed out kind of kind of vibe. Oh gosh, are we skipping? I can
You're
see.
skipping a little bit.
I'm dropping, and I don't know why.
Uh-oh.
Everything is plugged in. I can see that. Is it just the frames, or is the sound bad too?
It's the audio
Of
is
course, it's just
bumping.
Curly. I I don't have Google Fiber anymore, and it
Oh
really
no.
stinks.
That sucks. Where did
Let
you're lucky that you got it. Holy crap. We don't even offer it in Canada. It's just sled dogs. They just run over and over again. And once they get tired, I'm out of internet.
Yes, yes. Oh, meanwhile, El Hornet streamed today. His internet was down. He streamed off of his phone. He was tethered to his
That is
phone as a
insane.
hotspot. Yeah. Oh, now it's just the audio. Dang it. And Ben is here proper. Thank you so much. Yes, Distinct does produce music. I was listening to it today before the show. Um,
Thanks.
Real quick, Mrs. Pimp, I didn't shout you out, I don't think. I think you're the only one I didn't shout out. And Secret Structures and Ketamine Cat. Oh, and Galleon. Good Lord. You guys, I love y'all. This is the best community on Twitch, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure
I agree.
techno loves its community, but nothing like drum and bass. Nothing
Mhm.
like it. Guys, if I become ununderstandable, let me know and I will try to think of something. Or if one of you more experienced streamers has a better idea of what I could do, let me know, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my view, it's looking all right. Actually, one thing I'm going to do, guys, I hate to do this to you, but I close some windows here,
Let's
which means
close
I
some
won't be
windows.
able to see. Yeah, I won't be able to see the activity feed
Oh,
as easily. Is it better? Okay. Thanks, Praise.
excellent.
Appreciate you. Guys, get to know DJ Praise too. He's amazing.
That's amazing.
So yeah, right. So now I can't remember where we were because I was completely blown away by Hype Train. Oh, well, okay, we'll just get distinct talking because I should be talking so much anyway. So tell me about DMB girls. Tell the people about how you got them, all that.
Okay, yes, I can tell you guys all about D&B Girls, which is pretty exciting. Um, so pretty much D&B Girls started as a Canadian-only DJ collective. We were called the D&B Girls of Canada. Go figure, I guess. And when we were starting this, we toured across Canada, all that sort of stuff. And right now we're headed up by Jamie Jams out of Calgary. So we're actually a North American collective now, which means that we actually have DJs from all over Canada, all over, the US. We are looking at expanding maybe overseas in the next little bit, but it is something where we want to make sure that we have the support and we have the base to really support all of our girls with what they're doing. So I'm the assistant manager in Canada here. We've got Miss Isis who heads up the US, which is pretty exciting. And really, what we're just trying to do is we've got a collective that's a space that's we really try to promote and support each other. We have a podcast that we do every single month. Right now, you can see by my shirt. Oh, there we go. It says
Yeah.
Everyday Junglist. Sorry, I know that was super quick. I'm really weak. But Everyday Junglist, we're doing a podcast with them. So Brian, the guy who heads up Everyday Junglist, was nice enough to send me this tank top, so I wear it all the time because it's free stuff and it looks great. I love it.
Hey.
But he's
Yes.
been great. So we do that podcast. We do the DMB Girls podcast where we have women from all over who submit mixes for us. We've just started
Mhm.
a rotation on Select FM, which is going to be last Wednesday of every month, if I remember correctly. So our first one, we're kicking off with Jen Killa out of Vancouver, BC. She's half of
Mhm.
Leverage. If you've ever heard or seen any of their tunes, they're pretty
Mhm.
awesome. Lots of halftime stuff, which is pretty groovy. And really, we're really just we're meant to be a space where women can really support and build with each other and really create new
Mhm.
opportunities for themselves, where we're able to really promote what we're doing and kind of some of the stuff that women come into and come up against when we're talking
Mhm.
about the drum and bass community and the music community as a whole. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. If you haven't checked us out, definitely, there's a lot of talents. Pretty much, well, obviously I'm going to say everyone there is awesome because everyone is awesome on the crew, but I think we've got 23 or 24 DJs. I'll have to
Yeah.
double check. It's a fair amount now. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I don't know all of them, but like I know Ms. Isis and I know Iris who has had releases on like everything. I mean,
mhm.
boy, the landscape has changed. Like, not only is an American releasing on Metalheads, but an American woman, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, guys, let me know how bad it is or how good it is. And if you know how to fix it, let me know, please. Um, yeah, we actually, the link to, is it dmbgirls.net? And I can't remember what is it a dash or,
Yeah.
actually, you know
dmbgirls.net.
what? I'm going to post the link to your Facebook because you have a link on your Facebook to it.
Yeah.
So, DJ Praise, here is the link to Facebook. You can find everything about her there, including links to um, a link to DMB Girls. Um, so, yeah, you know what I really love about the DMB Girls thing is that uh, it's there are many great men that are allies for women, right?
Mhm.
But I really love the idea that this is something that women are doing together, that it's sort of women led in a creative space, um, and uh, like um, it's still I think we still have a ways to go if it can only be men building up, women, right? Like it should be absolutely led by women, and I love that. Absolutely love that. Um,
Yeah, it's a good concept, and I really like it. And one of the things that I like too is that we've made a lot of even when we through our in-person events, when we've done some of our casts, we'll still have male guests on because what
mhm,
we really want is for us to be, a cohesive group. It's not just,
right,
women only rah rah rah. It's,
right.
we want to focus on men who are empowering women as well.
Mhm,
Mhm.
absolutely, and like no one is saying that women should be superior. We just want parity, right? Like we want equal opportunities for everybody. No special treatment, no like novelty,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so yeah, uh, how on earth do you have time to have a partner, have a full time job, have kids, have a house, and stream? How do you make all this work? Like, I was thinking about that as we were getting ready today. Like, I could barely get myself together for this. And, it's just me. I didn't have to make anybody dinner or anything.
You know what? Like I've been really lucky. I've got a really supportive partner. So today he instant potted a whole chicken when I was going out and getting the kids, so I didn't have to do
Hmm.
anything for dinner. So he's been really good with making sure that, people are fed. Like he's putting the kids to bed right now. I can hear him. And that's been obviously really amazing because in order for me to do so many things, I need to have someone who's willing to step up when I need to, right? Or when
Hmm.
there's something that's going to conflict. Other than that, you know what? I drink a lot of coffee in the mornings. And there's just, it's a lot of work, at the end of my
Hmm.
week. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted. Sometimes I'm physically exhausted from all the dancing. But
Yes,
I
yes,
know that what I've done, I'm doing stuff that makes me happy and that gives you energy as well. If I was sitting here digging ditches,
yes.
probably wouldn't be able to do it for 80, 90 hours a week, right?
Right, right, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, your partner, DJ Seek, Brian, is getting mad props in the chat. So
I
big
see
up to
that. Thank you
that.
guys.
Yeah, and you know what? That's another great thing about having you here too, is that even just having you here, we're also, bringing attention to him too, which is great. I love that you guys do the stream together. So were you guys both DJing when you met?
Oh man, we're gonna tell this story. This is fun. Um,
Excellent.
remember that that giant festival that I said my friend Wade went to, and I
Yes.
decided that that must be a really bad place to go to?
Yes.
Well, I was DJing at that festival and I needed a ride because I didn't drive when I must have been 23 or 24, I guess. And we had a new member on the Supreme Hustle team who had just moved from Ontario, who was going out to the festival anyway and had a little bit of space. So I got really drunk for the entire night, had him pick me up at 6 a.m., and I reeked of booze and sat in his truck with him. And we drove to Golden, BC, which was about 3 hours. And that's the first time that he ever met me. And frankly, I have no idea why he decided to be friends with me. But so that was pretty good. But we were listening to a mix on the way, and I said, "Oh, these are all tunes I really like. Like, who's this DJ?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I did it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever. Fa fa fa. I guess you're just the best DJ in the world." I remember he left. Like, yeah, I know he left after like 24 hours of the festival, and I was like, "Okay, well, that guy was super weird." And we kind of kept in touch, just randomly over the next little bit. We'd go over to his house, have pre-drinks before we went out to some of the shows because he was part of some of the larger D&B crews.
Mhm,
And yeah, I don't know, we just ended up striking up a friendship, and then we
mhm.
ended up working together, and then I ended up dating him. Oops.
And here we are.
And here we are. Now we got 2 kids in a house.
Well, maybe there's something to be said for being, very drunk and a little messy when he met you because he kinda knew what he was getting, right?
You know what? It's kind of funny because obviously over the years I've gotten a little bit better, hopefully. Especially, without going out as much. Obviously, we're just hanging out at home, trying new
Right.
recipes in our Instapot and and entertaining children. But
Right.
but yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny that he definitely met me. I wouldn't say it's like the worst moment of my life, but if I had to give it like a scale 1 to 10, I'd give it about a 4.5. Not the smartest decisions in my life led me to that moment, but it seems to have worked out pretty good for me. So, the moral of the story, kids, is do whatever you want and whatever happens, happens. So,
Well, and, like, be ultimately a good person, like, even if you're a little messy and, imperfect, like, ultimately, I think you were probably as cool a person as you are today. People generally don't change that much. So,
thank you.
yeah, um, I got the vibe. Stupid microphone. I got the vibe, and I talk too much with my hands to have a microphone right in front of me.
That's okay.
It's a
Me
thing.
too. I like to hand talk, but there's a microphone.
Yes. Yes, yes. Ryan, if you didn't scroll up, we were all saying nice things about you. Um, shoot, okay, so, Supreme Hustle, you mentioned them before. How did you, like, specifically hook up with them, and, like, what is your in the sense of, like, um, helping them throw events? Because I was reading on or having a role in, like, what they're doing for the scene. I was reading your bio on D&B Girls, and it talked a little bit about that. Can you tell me some of how that happened?
Yeah, so it was kind of weird because I had met Mike, which is the guy who runs Supreme Hustle, a couple of times, and honestly, he's a business-minded guy, and every time we met I was drunk. I remember I got him to drive me to a house party once because I was too drunk. But pretty much we'd met a couple of times. I always DJ'd for him, just without being part of his crew. He'd have me on, and eventually I remembered he just reached out and he said, "You know what? We're looking at adding a couple new people to the roster. You're already DJing a lot for us. So what do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do this. This is pretty much like the best thing in the world." You know what? I've been lucky enough with them and with Filthy City, another crew in Calgary. I don't know. Do you guys have like crews where you're like part of crews and then crews throw shows? Is that like a normal thing across the globe?
20 years ago, absolutely. I have no idea what it's like now.
Yeah,
I have my own
it's
crew, so,
okay. Well, then good. Then
uh,
we're in the same
I
thing.
well, I
So
know
crews.
yeah, yeah, I know, for example, like, Ben is here, Ben Proper Bias, who I was actually just fixing to shout out, the
Yeah.
proper D&B from Chicago. Also,
Mhm.
Ben has been doing it a million years, and I'm gonna get him on here to tell his stories because I know some of the people he ran with, um, but I don't think I ever met Ben. So, uh, yeah, but are the rest of you guys in crews? Yeah, No Request as
No
Cruiser a
Request as
thing.
Cruise the thing. Yeah. Okay, good,
Yeah,
because I
well,
was
and No Request is
worried.
big hip hop guy too. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
definitely.
I've DJ'd lots of hip hop shows. I'm only moderately good at it, but they're lots of fun. But yeah, so cruise. So I've been really lucky with Filthy City and Supreme Hustle. We've been really, really blessed that we've been able to bring a lot of really cool shows, especially like a lot of neurofunk and a lot of stuff that maybe isn't, you know, what Calgary would typically consider as like a popular DJ,
Mhm.
like not Tantrum Desire. But it's something that's been really fun because I've been able to be part of like the organizing process. I've taken part in a couple of setups, tear downs, like that sort of stuff. That's what I like doing. I'm not
Mhm.
going to bear the entire $6,000 financial cost of bringing in an artist and organizing and
Right.
orchestrating it. I just don't have the
Right.
mind for that. But I've worked with a lot of people who do, who I'm hoping have been fairly successful in what they've done. And they've brought a lot of great talent and great shows to Calgary,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
all that you can really hope for, especially as a DJ and as a listener. That's what you want. You just want
Mhm.
good music with good people, and it's at a place that's not sketchy.
Or not too sketchy.
Yeah, not too sketchy
No,
works.
well, but let's big up the people who set up and tear down. I mean, without them, it may not be glamorous, but it is 100% needed, like above and beyond. Who's going to tape down the cords? I mean, make sure the plugs are all plugged in the right spots, all of
It's
that.
true.
DJ
Ben
Seek, the sketchier the better. Yeah. Uh
Ben says you should do up close and proper with us. I think so. It's lots of fun.
oh. Oh. Uh let's talk for sure.
Sweet.
Wait, was that for me or was that
That was
for
for
Distinct?
you.
Distinct should
I'm
totally
I'm
do it.
already
Distinct
part of
should
up
do
close and
everything.
proper. I'm already part of up close and proper. We're talking about you.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I'm up for anything, y'all. Like, I'm here to, much like you with going there and setting up and tearing down, I'm here to set up people and not tear anybody down. Whatever I can do to boost this, I'm all about it. Um, okay, so you got involved with Supreme Hustle, and that must have been really cool. Like, I know, like, for me, that moment where I finally realized, like, I wasn't just the annoying girl that really liked drum and bass and constantly asked what this record was.
Mhm.
Um, I finally realized I wasn't just that anymore, and I was actually like part of it. Um, uh, so yeah, that must be super rewarding, which probably leads into sort of the passion that you have. We talked about this briefly, I think, when we chatted before, like our pre-chat,
Mhm.
just about like having a passion for really pushing your local scene and your local DJs.
Yeah, it's what, as I've seen myself, like, first I was the new DJ, I was like 18, 19. I spun at a house party, and that's how I got my slot with Filthy City, because they spun like all these crazy neuro bangers, and I popped up in there with some Andy C and some Sigma and some Danny Bird and all this really like stuff that they called foofy music. Um and I ended up like seeing a lot of people who had put in their time and kind of what it looked like to be a longer time person in the scene. And it always made me really happy that people who maybe didn't love the type of drum and bass that I was spinning, but they liked me enough and they thought that I was worth a shot to at least have on
Hmm.
their roster and spin shows. And as I've gotten older, I do try to spend a little bit of time doing what I can to support some of the people who are just coming into drum and bass, because without younger people, no one listens to drum and bass anymore. Eventually,
Right,
we all die,
right,
right?
right.
So you got to
Absolutely.
pass it off. You got to pass it
Right.
off to some of the newer people. So really,
Hmm.
just I really wanted to kind of put a little bit more energy and a little bit more time into what does the Calgary scene need in the next 5 to 10 years in order for someone like me to be 18 and go into the scene and have a shot.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
you can't just be super clicky. You can't not allow new people. You know what? They're
Hmm.
18-year-olds and they're all really dumb. Trust me, I was really dumb as an 18-year-old, but you got to give people a little bit of a shot.
Hmm. Yeah. Let me see. Me at 20 when I got into this, young, full of myself, knew everything. Yeah. Thank
Yes, that was
God
me.
somebody
Yeah.
decided that, they should actually help me.
Mhm.
Passion, I guess, goes a long way, right? Like, even if someone is not necessarily great at expressing it, I think when you love something and they love it, that goes a long way to wanting to help them and, build them up.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about production. So,
Yeah.
I've been playing around with that myself since like November.
Mhm.
Finished a tune I'd started 20 years ago. And yeah, it's, oh
That's
man, what a
amazing.
feeling, right?
Congratulations.
What a feeling. Um, but I've actually been really loving bootlegs. And I noticed like the first two tracks that I noticed on your SoundCloud were there was the bootleg of uh why can the Come Out and Play, and I can't remember
The
their name now.
Offspring, yeah.
Offspring. I should know that. That was my youth. Um, and then the other one that I had never heard of the artist about, like You Can't Find Jesus in LA or whatever.
Yeah,
That
Alex
was a cool
Henderson.
tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like how did you get started in production? What has that experience been like for you?
Really frustrating. Like, I don't know
Mm,
if anyone else has ever had this experience before, but when I started DJing, it is a skill, but frankly,
mhm.
it's not that hard to pick up DJing. If you can keep a beat, you're probably going to be okay, right?
Right. Right.
Production is not like that. You do not,
No.
most of the time at least, certainly not for me, you do not sit in front of Ableton and go, "Oh my god, I know where to compress this, and I know which frequencies I need to cut out, and I know
Mhm.
exactly how to arrange a song," with absolutely no song composition training at all. No. So
Oh.
I spent a long time making 4-bar loops just over and over and over again. And I would sit there for
Mhm.
like 45 minutes and nothing
Mhm.
came to me. There was no come to Jesus moment where I was like, oh my fuck, I know how to do this. I'm going to be an amazing producer. I'm the next Tantrum Desire. And that never happened. And it got really frustrating. Like I've been playing around with
Mm,
production probably for 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, where I open it,
mhm.
I do stuff for 2 days and I go, "What the fuck? This doesn't make any sense." And then I don't touch it for another couple of weeks. So,
Right.
about 3 or 4 years ago, I started a project with my friend Chris, out in Calgary here, and it was called Barefoot Millionaires. And what we did a little bit of drum and bass, and we did ghetto funk, which is
Mhm.
like mid-tempo bass. If you don't know what ghetto funk is, it's mostly popular
Mhm.
in the UK and West Coast Canada for some reason. And that was really what we had was this really good sound. And what I loved about it is Chris was Ableton certified. He knew how to press everything and get the shit out of my head, and he made it a lot more fun to produce because we were actually making stuff that didn't sound really boring and really lame.
Right.
So
Right.
we did
Right.
that for
Right.
a couple of years. I'll make sure I link you the SoundCloud for that. The songs that we made were
Yes,
lots of fun.
please.
I still love them. But
Mhm.
with that, we did that for 3-ish years, 2.5, 3 years,
Mhm.
and I ended up stepping back just because my life was getting a little bit more complex, and then I got
Mhm.
pregnant like 6 months later. So good timing, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Um,
not complicated at all.
yeah, not at all. And then you find out it's two, and then there's a lot of other stuff,
Oh,
right?
you're my
But
hero.
after I had the kids, I've sat down with Ableton a couple of times, and by myself. I sat down with Ryan a couple of times, and Ryan's been a pretty good. He's got a lot of experience with Ableton too because he took audio production and music production in or not in high school, in college. So he taught me a couple of things, and he kind of kept me level with, you're not going to be really good at this when you first
Mhm.
start. Plus, a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff that I'd learned from producing with Chris, actually, some of it stuck in my head, which was crazy. It was well, I was really happy about it. So I did that. I'm working on a couple of tracks with my friend H Drizzle. I actually released a EP with him and Thug Shells, also from Twitch,
Mhm.
weirdly enough.
Mhm.
It's called
Nice.
Motion. It's a bass house EP. Actually, it's kind of fun. It's definitely a little bit it's slower than what I'd like. Kind of funny to say now,
Yeah.
but the track that we made, I really like it. It's called Space.
Mhm.
We've got a couple of extra ones on the go with him too. We've got one that's being released on a label that's really popular here in Western Canada. And then we're working on another one. He actually messaged me just before the show and he said, "Have you downloaded the stems yet?" And I said, "I thought about it. I opened it up in my messenger, but I haven't quite gotten that far yet. It'll happen eventually. I just last week I worked like 50 hours. I felt like a towel that had just been wrung out last week. I was barely awake pretty much for the entire weekend.
Yeah. 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 Uh, let's simplify it even more. When you talk about compression, like even knowing what the hell compression is, right? Like, why do you do it? What what does twisting this dial one way do versus twisting it the
Mhm.
other way? What are the frequencies? Should I EQ the bass out of this vocal? Blah blah. Blah. Oh my God, there's so much. But like one of the biggest things I've found that nobody told me was that you have to um if you are not willing to suffer the very uncomfortable feeling of being shitty at it, you can never get good at it. Like, you have to tolerate the, "Oh god, this is awful," or, "Oh god, I just have been here for 2 hours and nothing good has happened," kind
Mhm.
of
And you
feeling.
know what? You make a track and, like, even the ones that I've released now, I'm like, "Oh, these suck." But I think that that's probably a really common feeling towards almost every producer. But, the
Mhm,
one time I'm looking forward to the day where I release a song and a month later, I don't open it up back again and go, "Oh my god, what did I do on this
mhm,
track? Why
mhm.
does it sound so bad now?" When I released it, it sounded amazing, right?
Right,
So,
right.
just you do have to be comfortable with not being very good at things, and especially when I was in
Mhm.
my early 20s, I wasn't, because
Right,
everyone told me I was
right,
such a good
same.
DJ, I'm such a good performer, I'm so good at this, and then you become really uncomfortable with the fact that maybe you're not very good at something else. They're not the
Right,
same skill, and certainly
right.
production requires there's you know what, there's math involved in DJing, but there's knowledge involved in actual production. Yes, you can feel some things. There's some feelings involved in producing music,
Mhm.
but there is some actual shit you need to know. You cannot, most of the time at least, you can't just wing it and all of a sudden have this
Yeah.
beautiful number one beatport track. You need to kind of know at least the basics of what's behind what you're doing. Which, to be
Yes.
honest, I certainly don't. I know a little
Yeah.
bit now. I've done a lot of reading. Obviously, I've gotten a little bit of knowledge from my past production experiences and all that. But when you first open Ableton up, it's like I don't even know what the first thing I should press is.
Right? Yeah, DJ Spade, absolutely right. Math and science.
So much
Um,
science, and I did
so
not
much
do too well in
science.
science.
Like, I mean, there are times when I sit there and I'm reminded of being in physics class and I can't remember the right word for the thing, the oscillometer or something, with like the sine waves when my teacher's like playing the sound and I'm like, God, I wish I remembered everything that, that he had told me right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, like you know, I think I didn't oscillator, that's it. No request, thank you. No request. Genius producer, Grammy Award winning producer for
Mhm.
Maxwell. Yeah, he's the man. He definitely would know that it is an oscillator.
Yeah,
But
I seem to remember that interview with him off the top of my head. Maybe.
yeah, he hasn't been on my stream yet. I should get him on my stream.
You
But
should.
but
Yes, no, he
he's
was interviewing with someone else. I remember he
yeah,
had a
yeah.
Grammy in his hand, and I don't remember who it
Mhm.
was, but I remember going, "What is that?"
Yes, yes. He's such a cool kid that like I'm not, I'm
Mm,
intimidated.
deep.
I'm just a dorky girl. Oh yeah, Deep Show. Yes. Yeah, that was just like a week or so ago, right? Um uh
Time goes by so weird in the quarantine. I don't even know what I ate for breakfast this morning. I think it was coffee.
yeah,
Um, I think I did
it's
stuff
lost all
today.
meaning. Like the last 12 months have been both like they've both sped by and felt like they've taken a million years. It's so weird to have that feeling exist at the exact same moment.
You
Um
wanna feel like time has gone by fast, Curly? Do you know we're 25% through, 2021? My boss told me that this morning, and I went, "What?"
yeah, last Monday, wait, no, last Friday was the 19th, right? Uh last year, that was my last day in my office. I've been working from
Wow.
home ever since then.
That's so sad.
Unbelievable. But I'm so grateful that I can work from home and that I still, have a job. This has also been, you know what? And I'm interested to ask you this question. For me, this has been the best, worst year ever. And like, just for me, I've met a lot of really cool people. I've reconnected with a lot of my passions. Um, I, uh, I've had a lot of personal growth. Um, that I think sort of the isolation and the change and the quiet has kind of, it pushed things to a head. What has the experience of all of this been like for you? This
You
completely new world.
it is really weird. So everyone went in lockdown in March. In Canada, we had everyone, like, literally for 2 weeks, no one got to go to work. No one got to do anything unless you worked at a grocery store.
Mhm.
You literally only left for essentials. It was really bizarre. I remember turning on the news every morning. Who thought that I would ever do that?
Right?
And watching Justin Trudeau talk about what the fuck was happening in the world. And I remember getting laid off, which was kind of funny because I remember like 3 weeks earlier, everyone's talking about this coronavirus thing. I'm like, it's just like, I don't know, one of the other SARS or something like that. Like, it's far away, Ebola. Like, I'm never going to
Right.
get this. Like, this is just going to blow over
Right.
the news, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I remember like a week before, I said, oh my God, this is getting actually like really serious. Maybe we should be concerned. And then I
Yes.
lost my job.
Oh,
So that was
God.
good. You know what? In fairness, though, I got my job back about a month and a half later.
Mhm.
So it's not
Mhm.
like it was super crazy or super bad. But, for the first
Mhm.
little bit, I'm like, oh my God, like there's this thing that shut down the entire world. I lost my job. I lost
Right.
all my gigs for the summer. Like everything's just kind of come to like this really bizarre head.
Right.
And yeah, back in April, I ended up getting my job back. I worked for a couple of months, decided that I hated it, and I quit to get a better job, and I'm really glad that I did because now I really
Nice.
love my job. But I agree with you. It's been like the best worst year ever because it does suck.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like Friday night. I'm like I should be out doing something, but there's nothing to fucking do. And like I'm not gonna be going around to house parties or anything like that. That's just not really my style. And
Right.
I miss it sometimes. I go, fuck, like you get FOMO, even though there's nothing happening. I'm like, why am I not out drinking and partying with my friends tonight?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, like I started this Twitch thing, which is, I mean, to me, it's been really, really good. It's really kept my head straight on for the last little bit.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of time to kind of reflect and grow. There's been, a couple of sad points in the
Mhm.
last year that have been really tough to deal with, and I've had the time to,
Mhm.
recover from them with my family and my
Mhm.
friends.
Mhm.
Obviously socially distance. um,
Right. Right.
but it's yeah, I don't know if it was a good or a bad year. I thought that overall I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, maybe a
Mhm.
7 out of 10 even, actually. I don't think that it was
Mhm.
that bad. I don't find it's too bad to have to stay home all the time. I just sometimes I miss the freedom a little bit, but not enough to like
Yes.
do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, uh, for a lot of it, it's just stressful, like,
Mm,
even if you are not like, for me, I'm not experiencing financial hardship right now. I have
mhm,
been, and I know every day how lucky I am. I work the place where I work, I am confronted with how lucky I am every day.
mm,
Um, and so knowing what other people are going through, like being aware of what other people are going through, being worried about my parents who are elderly and not in great health, and my story, I share that because my story is not unique. That's like what's
mm,
going on around the world. Um, so I guess I guess maybe the good things are like what's keeping me going through, everything
mhm.
else.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's
wild.
it is. It's tough. I know that I'm really lucky as well, just like you, that's I've got a nice job, I've got a really supportive partner. I'm not in any danger. We've really actually made some good moves towards some better things for us and our family this year. So yeah, I think that I'm really, really lucky, and I thank my lucky stars quite a bit to say, you know what,
Mhm.
this could have been a lot worse, right?
Right. Right.
Um, so I feel for the people who are having a lot tougher of a time. I'm privileged to even be able to say that it was a bad good year, right?
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I, I'm blessed beyond belief, and g I hate the way people use that word, like, I really mean it, like, I'm fortunate, you know,
For sure.
but yeah.
I
Uh,
wish though, the one thing that I miss is going to Costa Rica every year and throwing a giant
uh,
music festival. I miss that part.
wait a minute, like, let's tell us about this. I need to
Oh,
know.
great. I've even got a couple of funny stories that I think will go along with this. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so there's a festival that I usually help run, or at least help participate in, like stage management and like basic stuff. Every year it's called Bamboo Bass Festival. It usually happens in February, so I just got all my pictures from 2 years ago when the last time I was there was
Mhm,
on my Facebook feed, my Facebook memories. So that was kind of disappointing. But it's a lot of fun. I go for down for a week. It's in Hako. So you go to the airport, you drive out, you get an Airbnb for a week, and you party pretty much. What else do you do in a country that you're going there for a music festival? You drink, eat some good food. I don't surf because last time I tried to surf I broke my hand. But other
yeah,
people surf and I get to sit on the beach and watch them, and yeah, it's a blast. I miss music festivals. I miss that quite a bit. That's one
mhm,
of the things that is going to kind of suck about this year again.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Doesn't Canada have a really big one in the summer that I can't remember the name of, but I've heard people
Shambhala.
talking about it? Pardon me?
Shambhala.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
What's it like? I've never been a festival girl, ever.
You know what? When I was younger, it was way funner to sleep in a tent all day and have to get up at
Right?
8 because it's too hot and be dirty and you're wearing the same clothes for 3 weeks,
Right.
or 3 days, sorry. Oh my god, 3 weeks.
What is this,
Uh,
Burning Man? Like
yeah, no, this is I don't do the Burning Man, but, I mean, that festival is probably 15 to 20,000, so it's not like, to us, that's big. It's not as big as, like, some of the ones like EDC, which I was supposed to go to EDC last year, obviously. We know how that turned out. Um, but,
Yes.
you know what? Shambhala is really, really great because it's still like it still kind of feels like you can kind of trust everyone there. Like it's a very friendly sort of vibe. I was really looking forward to going last year. We had a D&B Girls Showcase set up for one of the nights, which was incredible because it's a really great place to be able to play and a really great, run by a really great team. But honestly, I don't know why I liked festivals because of all the camping part. I like glamping
Mhm.
now. You get the RV, you have a place to like
Yeah.
wash up. It's like you got the air conditioner. I like that part. It's been a really long time since I've slept in a tent, and I think that it's going to be really tough to convince me to go back to that when we do go back to festivals. I may
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
drive back into town.
yeah, yeah. You're a grown up. Like, I'm a grown up. I want, like, some comfort, man. Like, I can afford it now, right? So
Well, that's the thing, right? Like when you're 18 until like maybe about 25, 26, you can't. So you do it the cheapest way
yes.
possible
Yeah.
because you want to make sure that you have money to eat and stuff like that.
Right,
But
right. Well, and
now I'm like, I have enough money that if I wanted to go to Shambhala with an RV, I could pay for the RV pass. I could rent the RV. Like, why would
mhm.
I not? If it's gonna make me monumentally happier, or even minimally happier, say go for it, may as well
Yeah.
splurge. It's a vacation, right?
Well, and, my 20-year-old body could handle sleeping in all kinds of weird configurations that my 40 something year old body is not into. It's really not into.
You know
Um,
what? It's true. I don't know. The one place that I can still fall asleep though, people always look at me super weird when I do this, but I can sleep on planes, but I don't sleep on planes
mhm.
like this. I sleep on planes with my head on the seat in front of me, and that's how I sleep. I don't know,
Yeah.
like it kind of looks like I'm dead, to be honest. So I see why it freaks people out.
Oh, that's funny. That's amazing. Of
Yeah.
course, Colin Dot likes sleeping in a tent for 3 weeks. I
Uh,
totally believe that about him,
no
like,
more tents. Beach,
100%.
Pacific, Guru is totally right. I did a cell blowout with
Absolutely.
him once, and I was kind
No
of a
more
brat, so I'm
tents.
sorry.
No more tents. We're grown people. We got jobs, real jobs.
Real jobs without tents.
Yes. Okay, so geography lesson. So I know Vancouver is in Western Canada,
Yes.
and be specific, Guru or Darth Liquid, one of the two. All you Canadians look alike with your names. Um, uh, one of them mentioned that Western Canada really loves their festivals. Is Calgary in Western Canada?
It would still be considered Western Canada. Western Canada is BC and Alberta. I guess
Hmm.
I wouldn't call Saskatchewan Western Canada. I'd call that Central Canada at that point. But
Hmm.
so these two provinces are mostly Western Canada. BC's obviously Wester. If we're going for a geography lesson here, I can see how
Hmm.
excited this makes you.
No, the time
I'm just
change has
teasing.
completely wrecked me.
I'm just
It's horrible.
I'm just teasing. I am
I'm
so just
terrible.
teasing. Don't worry about it. But Calgary is probably about 3 hours drive from the border of BC, and then I don't know, probably another 14 or so to Vancouver. Like it's not a short drive. It's like driving across a couple of states, at least a
Yeah.
state.
Yeah. No, that's not bad. But like,
Guru
don't
says
you guys
everything
only
west of
have
Toronto is Western Canada, but okay.
Toronto might say that was the case, although I think Quebec would probably take exception to that designation. Not uh yeah. So oh my lord, totally lost it.
Huh?
Happens all the time. What I
Oh,
was
that's
going to
funny.
ask you, completely lost it.
We can talk about
Um
Costa Rica and the festivals. I've got lots of
yes,
funny stories
yes.
about
Tell
some
yes,
awful things that happened there.
hit me
Well,
with the
not awful,
story.
awful,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, and by the way, it did not go unnoticed to me that when you're at this festival, you are in an Airbnb. High five. That's the way
Uh,
to do it.
oh my god. So one of the years, so they had a luxury resort, and then they had a whole house right next to this luxury resort that they rented out. So I ended up needing roommates, and I honestly I wanted to rent this house out, but I wasn't willing to bear the cost because it was like 400 a night to have this
Mhm.
house. There was like 6 or 7 rooms. So I decided to post on the Facebook wall and see what I got. And actually, it was crazy. I actually landed on a really good crew out of Toronto, and it was amazing. We had like our own little pool. We had a kitchen set up so we could go to grocery stores and actually cook, not just eat out all
Right.
the time.
Right.
Yeah, that was the year I found out I was pregnant. So the second last year that I went before this COVID stuff. So that was really exciting. It was like my last day in Costa Rica, and
Mhm.
I just knew it in my head. It's the weirdest thing ever. I'm like, oh my god, my chest hurt, and I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I think that that's what's happening. And I went home and I took a pregnancy test, and bam. So that was kind of cool to discover, I guess, at the tail end of a long drinking trip.
Oh god.
um, okay, the first
Ah,
the first year that I went, so I went with Chris that year because we were still producing under Barefoot Millionaires.
okay.
And Chris likes to party. Let's be really honest. He's like the kind of person who is down for anything. And the first night that we were there, I was managing one of the stages. So him and his friend Carolyn ended up taking a taxi back to town. I was tearing down the thing to make sure that we didn't have any gear sitting out because he didn't want to have anything stolen. And by the time that I am ready to kind of go home, I take a cab and I go to a convenience store. And lucky me, Chris and Carolyn are right there. Well, Chris is there and Carolyn is walking away. And I'm like, okay. And Chris is talking to a lady who maybe doesn't have a lot of clothes on. And I'm thinking, what is happening here? So I'm like, Chris, are you ready to go back to the hostel? Like, let's go have a couple of drinks and let's go to bed. Blah 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 blah. We've got a long day tomorrow. And he's like, no no no. I'm talking to her about our music. And sure as fuck, he's got our stuff on YouTube, and he's showing this prostitutes our music.
Of
And I'm
course.
like,
As one
Chris,
does.
Chris, this girl is expecting you to pay her. Why are you doing this? Let's go now because I don't want you to get beat up. And he goes, no, 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 Sam, I'm a genius. And he's drunk. Let's be really honest here. He says, Sam, I left my money at the hostel. So it's not like they can rob me. I don't have anything. And I'm like, Chris, as soon as they figure this out, they're going to be pissed. Like, there are some mean looking guys standing like 4 feet away. We need to go. And
Mhm.
this girl comes up to me afterwards, after like I'm trying to have this conversation with him in English. She tells me to step off because she thinks that I'm trying to hook him because I've got my bikini on. And I'm like, I'm not trying to step on your turf. This is my friend. And she's like, don't get messed up in things that you can't do. And I'm like, I don't really want to be involved in this. I'm not going to be beaten up by someone in the middle of a street in Costa Rica. At this point, I was like 23. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. He is an adult.
Bye.
He can take care of himself. And I walked home. And after about an hour and a half, he still hadn't come home. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Chris got himself killed. And I'm going to have to explain this to his family. Like, we took him on this trip to Costa Rica and I don't even know what happened. And so I'm starting to freak out a little bit. And I ended up hanging out with Jen Killa, one of the girls from DMB Girls, and her husband for a little bit, trying to just like calm down. I'm like, okay, probably nothing happened. He's a big guy. He's going to be okay, blah, 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 blah. I heard him come into the other room from Jen's room. And by the time that I got back, he was gone again. I'm like, okay, well, at least I know he's not dead. Right. So I go to bed. Yeah, see, Guru's got it. Yes, I should have left right away.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so pretty much I hear him got it back. I'm like, okay, he's not dead. That's great. I wake up in the morning, he's still not back. I'm like, okay, well now it's been like another 6 hours. So I sit by the pool and I'm like, I try to give him a quick text on Facebook and I'm like, dude, like, where are you? Like, people are starting to ask questions. Like, you didn't come back to our room last night. Like, what's up? And he finally comes back at 11 o'clock and he has a story for us, which is even crazier than the story that I just told you.
Uh-huh.
He says that the girl did get mad when he didn't have any money and started to get really upset with him. But
Mhm.
the guys were starting to get a little bit upset too. So they were like, if you don't have any money, like, don't talk to the merchandise, pretty much, like, fuck off. And he, in his beautiful wisdom, was like, no, 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 it's cool. I'm just showing you some tunes from Canada. I'm from Canada, man. I'm here to spread my music. And he's showing the pimp the music. And eventually they all walk back to the hostel, which is when I heard him. And Chris grabs a couple of things and then goes back out. And there's a limo waiting for all of them. So the prostitutes and the pimps and blah, 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 blah. They all get in, Chris included. And the pimps explain in very broken English that they're off to drop off some of the girls for work.
Mhm.
So that happens. And he's just in the back of this car with a bunch of high ranking thugs who do this for a living while everyone is just getting absolutely tuned and dropping off stuff. And I guess he went around and talked with them as much as he could because they didn't really speak any English, and then sat with them on the beach until the sun rose and shared heart to hearts. And that's when he came home. So that was the craziest story that happened to me in Costa Rica.
So he ended up, like, having emotional bonding with, uh, uh, high
Yes, I don't
important
even know what to call them.
thuggish
Just pimps,
pimps
I
on
guess.
the
Yeah.
well, exploiters of women on the beach
I thought it was the
as
most
the sun
insane
came
thing, and I
up.
was like, "Chris, you are
Wow.
super lucky that they didn't kill you or at least beat you up
Yeah.
and ask you where all your money was." Like, there's just so many things that
Yeah.
could have gone wrong in every decision-making part of this process. And he said, "No, man, it was cool, man. We were just sharing music. It was, like, so much fun." And you know what? That's the type of person Chris is. I thought it was absolutely funny.
Yeah.
At the time, I was traumatized a little bit, but, afterwards,
Yes.
I look back and I go, that's the type of person Chris is. I remember every single house party, he's like the person like on his phone showing everyone all of our tunes. He's a very proud
Aw.
individual, which is,
Yeah.
it's sweet, but it almost got him seriously hurt this time.
Yeah. Well, Beats Pacific Guru says he's an endearing fool.
That's Chris. You know what? Chris is a really great guy, but yeah, not known for the decision making skills. In moments like that, in fairness, everything turned out well. So I guess if to have a story like that to tell your kids, I mean, you're not going to get it anywhere else.
True. Very true.
Yeah, he's
Hopefully told
crazy.
as a cautionary tale and not a how to have a wild time in Costa Rica
No,
tale.
this is a cautionary tale. Please do not take it seriously. Do I need to do like a legal disclosure? Do not do what I just said. Please.
Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, uh, Base Colony, big up to you. Thanks so much for being here, man. Glad you showed up.
Big
Um,
up everyone.
yeah, you guys. Seek is throwing biddies at me like crazy, like it's Mardi Gras. Um, what a doll. What a doll.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks, Guru. You're
so
right. Avoid pimping your tunes to the pimps in Costa Rica. Great moral of the story. We should write a children's book about it and, illustrate it. It'll be good.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, to be fair, your friend had no intention of paying for their goods and they certainly had no intention of paying for his. So, I mean, I guess it worked out in the end, right?
It
Uh,
it did work out, but, it's good, good to remember that, at one point I was mistaken for a prostitute, so that was, good feelings back then.
yes. Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Those were the days.
Those were
Um
the days. So that's my wild story from Costa Rica.
I love the idea that I have been to Guatemala and I have a soft spot for Central America. It's really
Mhm.
cool place, cool people. So yeah, I love that. I love that story. Is that the
It's
farthest you've ever went for like a festival?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, I'd love to go to the UK sometime, but it's a little bit tough, getting out there obviously right now, but with everything, I also have to think of everything else in my life too, if I leave
Mhm.
for just even a day, to play 1 day and then
Mhm.
come back, I'm committing to 3 or 4. I gotta make sure
Right.
that Ryan's okay with taking care of the kids or we've got
Right.
childcare covered. I also have to make
Right.
sure my job is okay with it, so it just ends up being when you're young, like if I wanted to go to a festival and just
Mhm.
leave, I would just like say, fuck it. I would just call into work for 2 days and just go
Right.
because that who cares, right? But
Right.
as
Right.
I've gotten older, it becomes a little bit harder. I would like
Yep.
to go to the UK as soon as like maybe next year or the year after for a
Mhm.
festival just to experience it because I know that it's way different there than it is here. Or
Right.
maybe I know like shame on me for wanting to go to EDC, but Ryan showed me pictures and it looks pretty cool. So and that's at least closer in Vegas, and I know how to drink really good in Vegas, and I'm not worried about getting lost or something bad happening, so
Oh, that's good. Yeah, when you're younger, I think it's easy as young people for us to look like I mean, I know I did like at 20 for, us to look at, people in their mid 40s and, all of that and like think, oh, they're so lame that they can't go out. They have all these excuses. But the problem is you're so like you have actual people that are like that you are responsible to like little humans to take care of and,
Mhm.
rent to pay, like real rent to pay and,
Mhm.
bills and all of that stuff. But yeah, on the other hand, all of that stuff can get you an RV to glamp at Shambhala. So
Yeah, it's true, you think about it
worth
like,
it.
yeah, I can't drop and go to Shambhala for an entire week, but I sure as hell can go for 3 days, and I can do a lot more than what I used to be able to do, which was pretty much I'm at my last couple of dollars as I'm trying to get home. But
Hmm.
at least now, I know that I'm going with a little bit of I don't have to limit myself based on what sort of resources I have because I've got
Right.
a little bit more there. And it's kind of nice to take a break. Sometimes it's nice to just go hard for a couple of days and then just go back to reality. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do the
Yeah.
3 or 4 or 5 or 10-day things anymore. Like I get cranky if
Hmm.
I stay up past 12 now. I'm sorry, I'm a baby.
uh Dr. Ketamine Cat, by the way, I love that username.
Me
Love
too.
it
I
for
think it's
reasons
hilarious.
yeah, for reasons that may become clear as we get closer to my birthday. Um, it's good stories about that.
Mhm.
Um, uh, so, most when I've heard you DJ, most of what I've heard from you is like, I guess like sort of maybe like harder dance floor type stuff. So it was interesting to me to hear you say that, back when they, when what am I thinking of their name? Um, uh, something Hustle,
Supreme Hustle.
Supreme Hustle. When they got you in, you were playing the what do they call it? Fluffy stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
floofy, like stuff that's like a little bit like more vocally. But I don't know,
Huh.
it still fills a dance floor, right? But it kind of reminds me a
Hmm.
little bit of like trance and drum and bass all made a baby, and that's how we got a lot of Danny Bird tunes, I think. Just kidding.
From Bath with Love, man. Cannot touch it. It's amazing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Um,
well, you know what? And it's kind of weird because I have kind of migrated styles. Like you'll see me
yes.
even on my sets. Sometimes I'll play some darker stuff. I
Mhm.
know rollers aren't a subgenre, but I like that darker, kind of like moodier sort of drum and bass.
Yes.
I like sort
Yes.
of a little bit of hip hop over top of my stuff. I like
Mhm.
MCs, not live. I like MCs on tunes, just not when they're in person. And
Yes.
I like that sort of stuff when I spin. But, really what I've really cultivated over the last 3 or 4 years, I joke about it. My bot is called Banger's Bot, and
Mhm.
it's the after work workout. Like we're here to play
Right.
that more energetic type of music that,
Yeah.
it makes me happy. It makes me dance. Plus, I don't do any sort of working out, so I may as
Yeah.
well jump around a little bit while I do this. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I get to play on and DJ, and I might burn off the beer that I have, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was one of the things that really caught my attention when you were on Inside the Ride was you never stopped moving. Like it was it was a workout, like for sure. Which, leads me back to sort of you talking about like that first gig and your hands shaking and, not sure whether this is something you should do. Um, I know for me, I was trying so hard. Like I was so focused on being like perfect that having that level of a good time was not really something that happened necessarily. Were you like the bouncy girl from the beginning, or did that sort of happen over time?
Oh yeah, that happened over time, and what happens is once you become a little bit more confident in what you're doing, and you like I know at least the parts of the tracks that I'm playing, I know them really well. I do joke that sometimes I haven't heard the second half of a lot of my tunes, but that's okay. But I know the first parts really well. I know where the vocals come in. And I'm really I really feel well about what I'm playing, so it gives me a
Mhm,
little bit of that freedom to have fun. And you'll notice it, like if I'm like, for example, we got Record Box and Beatport Link, which, if you don't know, it allows us to pull songs off of Beatport Live to play,
mhm,
which is super cool. Trust me, do not get me wrong. I think that it is a very cool thing, but I'm one of those people that I want to know where the vocals come in. I want to have my
mhm,
cue points. I want to have like, oh, I know that I have got 8 bars until this drops, so I can double drop
mhm,
this. I like having that level of knowledge on my tunes.
mhm.
So when you can tell when I'm not using stuff that I'm as comfortable with, I'm not as
Right.
excited because I'm focused on making sure that I don't screw up. And even so, like even when I'm playing live, sometimes the fun does kind of get sucked out of it because you just want to be perfect. You want to make sure that everyone knows that you're amazing. And you're like, oh, well, fuck, I played it so much better in my bedroom. I can't believe I train wrecked that mix. And um, really one of the things that I've tried to learn about myself this year is to kind of
Mhm.
let go of that because it fucking happens. Like
Yes.
I've seen enough DJs DJ on Twitch now that I know that I'm not the only person who has done a mix a billion times and then screwed it up on the billionth and 1th time.
Right.
And
Right.
really just trying to like, if you keep holding on to like that, the fear of screwing something up or something bad happening or botching a mix, like it's a lot more stressful to DJ than it should be, right?
Well,
So that's
well,
really what I've been focusing on in the last couple of months and what I hope to focus on going forward. If you talk to
mhm.
Ryan, he'll tell you I'm not a big fan of change. I'm not a big fan of anything not sounding the exact same way that I've heard it before, or I imagine it sounding. So I don't know, it's all a learning experience. We're all just human, just on this little ride, right? So this is something that I
Yeah.
know that I want to work on. So being happy and DJing while I do it
Yeah.
is it helps, right?
Yeah. No request, said it well, take chances. It's
Mhm.
important. Be afraid, but do it anyway. Um,
Mhm.
uh, well, and the funny thing is, like, if you are so focused on being perfect, sometimes you're worse because you're not sort of like vibing it out and,
Mhm.
paying attention to the wrong things, psyching yourself out. Um,
Mhm.
uh, so when you started, so you mentioned that you had like the two options at the roller rink, right? You had the time code vinyl with Serato, and
Mhm.
then you had what was the name of that uh DJ software with the wheel and
EPM Studio. I'll see if I
BPM
can send you a
Studio.
picture of the controller for that because literally it's just two wheels, and then the middle part was how you like sped it up a little bit, and that's pretty much all that you can do. And then there's like a fast forward button and a back forward button, and then like play and pause and stop. Like that's it. So, oh, Ryan has
Yeah.
turned on the rave down here. So,
Yes. Big
congratulations.
up. Oomta, oomta, oomta. Yeah.
There you go. But no, it's a weird one. Would not recommend it. But I mean, you learn like there was no visual or anything like that. So I did learn how to match by ear by
Hmm.
doing that, which obviously is a skill that you should know how to do without having that visual aid, I think.
Yes. Yes.
But I moved over to Serato vinyl for a long time, and I was one of those people who thought that if you spun turntables, you are just a better class of human being. I don't know why you'd even buy CDJs. And
Oh, I
now
was
sitting in
never
front of
that person.
never, yeah. Oh man, if you don't own some boomer discs, why are you even here? But now I own 4 CDJs, so congratulations to
Yeah.
me. I actually owned
Yeah.
turntables until 3 days ago, and we sold them. Well, we traded them for more CDJs, so sorry.
You know what though? Like, I mean, 20 years ago, sync technology was kind of, brand new. Controllers weren't really a thing. Like sync was
Mhm,
mostly happening on computers. And
mhm,
we may have, really slammed guys that did their mixes in, a computer with sync, right? That's not really DJing, blah 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 blah. I'm
mhm,
really glad to find out that coming back into it, A, my attitude has changed, and
mhm,
B, the attitude of pretty much everyone has changed, that, being a DJ is about a lot more than beat matching, that it's about a lot more than the medium that you use to do it, and, I think Darth Liquid said it really well, we were talking on his stream, that the the more the less time you have to spend beat matching, and like great thing about digital is not having to like chase and maintain the mix.
mhm,
That the less time you have to do that is more time you can spend changing tracks, doing interesting things with your tracks.
mhm,
And man, I'm all for that. Like
mhm.
I'm totally into that. I can't wait to get a controller.
It's you know
Um
what? People don't really, I guess, well, especially I didn't really think about it, but it gives you so much more time. Like I used to have to just sit there and you babysit your turntables, especially if you
oh
got one of the
yeah.
older 1200s. And then by the time that you've mixed out, like I mean the drop is there and you've got to kind of catch up and all that sort of stuff. But like with CDJs, it's really I love it. It gives me so much time to do new things. And I like that
Mhm,
no request said try new things because what I've
mhm.
liked is a lot of the stuff that I've had on the radio show, or I guess it's a Twitch stream, not really a radio show,
Yeah.
is that I have been able to try out new mixes and pull out tunes that I haven't played in 6, 7 years. And I don't feel pressured that it has to be absolutely 100% all the time. You know what? Like
Mhm.
we streamed on Saturday for the first time in 4Decks, and I totally train wrecked a mix. I have no idea how I did it, but I did it. And
Right.
I was just like, oops, like it happens. Like it's the first time I've mixed on 4 decks in like 2 or 3
Yeah.
years. So,
Yeah.
it gives you a little bit of stuff to try out. And what I love is when I find a mix that is just so amazing, I can keep it for later because I'm not sitting there babysitting my mix.
Yes.
I can just drag and drop it into a new folder.
Uh, this is a good point. Craze said sync is okay. The argument is over.
Bam.
I think that
I
probably
love it.
settles
You know
it,
what?
you know?
Yeah. Who hits the
Yeah,
sync
he's
button on a 1200 anyway? Jeez, guru.
um, uh, lost it. It happens, age, whatever, having such a
It's
good
been a long
conversation that
day.
there's so much to think about, like there's so many different directions that the conversation can go. I love that. Um,
Mhm.
okay, so we are coming up, I think, on when you're gonna wanna step out to get your stream ready so we could raid into you. Hear that, guys. For those of you that came late, came to the party a little late, we're very glad you're here. Better late than never. Um, but Distinct is going to step out a little early and get her set up and get live so we can raid straight into her. If you have not seen her before, you are in for a treat. And if you have, I know you're going to come with us. So there you go. Is there anything in particular that you would like to plug while we're here?
No, you know what? I do my streams on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, usually a little bit later on Saturdays because we raid into 916.
Mhm.
You know what? It's just been, it's been really wild. Thank you so much, Curly, for having me on the show,
Thank
which is, I
you.
mean, I love talking, and it kind of feels like
Yes.
I'm talking with a friend, which honestly hasn't happened.
Yes.
Normally, I'm trying to tell you to buy some phones from me. So I'm really glad that I haven't had to ask you what you currently have for your cell phone and why you should switch to Rogers.
Man, me
I guess
too. If I get one more call about my car's warranty, I'm gonna lose it.
But, no, you know what? I would love, if you guys come and check it out. If you like it,
Mhm,
please give me a follow. I'd love you guys have
mhm,
been really great in the chat. I love tuning in and being able to, like, watch people really engage with the stream. I think that that's my favorite part, and that's one of the things that I really, focus on on my streams. You know what? Even if there's only 6
mhm.
or 7 people there, I wanna make sure that
Yeah.
we're all talking because that's the fun part. Like, the music is great, like, don't get me wrong. I love going into
Mhm,
people's streams and listening to some banging music, but my fun part is when I go in and I'm talking to these people that like Mrs. Pimp is from Colorado. Like, why
mhm.
would I ever go to Colorado? No offense, but I
Right,
wouldn't have ever ended up there. But now I know all these great
right.
people. Dr. Ketamine Cat is from the States, and why would
Yeah.
I know these things unless, or why would I have met these people unless I had actually had this Twitch community? So I think that
Yes.
that's all that I want to plug. Yeah, I'll shoot
Yeah.
my Facebook links and stuff like that in the
Yes,
chat
I
after we're
face
done, just so
yeah,
people
I've
have
got your
that,
face I've
and my
actually just put
SoundCloud.
your Facebook link up. Yes, SoundCloud. I have your SoundCloud as well.
Mhm.
Um, I do sometimes prepare. Um, it's a little iffy
Yeah.
sometimes, but yeah. So there are some links. No request asked, and this is a good question. Do you have merch?
Uh, you know, I don't. I have looked at doing it through Stream Elements. I actually wanted to talk to
Hmm.
you about that, Curly, because I know that you
Yeah.
said that you had started doing. You did a couple of things and you misstepped a couple of ways. You said, like
Yes.
there's
Yes.
been a couple
Yeah.
of
I
things,
don't want
right?
to. Yeah. I don't want to slag anybody on here. Um, but like, especially because like print on demand is, I think, inherently prone to varying quality, because it is print on demand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's Stream Elements is probably the easiest one, and I haven't heard anything bad about the quality of their merchandise. And No Use
Mm-hmm.
for Anger likes them, and he is a picky motherfucker. So
Yeah.
they are definitely they're definitely a good option.
Well,
Um,
definitely, and I think probably one of the things I wanna do first is I wanna get my logo redone because my logo was done
mhm.
by me in Photoshop, woohoo!
Yeah.
But, I'm not a Photoshop master, it's just how I do all my
Mhm.
overlays.
Yes.
So
Yes.
having that redone, I'm getting my emotes redone by a Twitch artist right now, so that's kinda fun. The
Yay.
last thing that I should probably mention, because Ben dropped it in the chat, and he's, I wanna mention this because Proper Chicago, I've been part of their crew for a little while now, and it's been a lot of fun. Ben is one of the best people that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and we do Up Close and Proper. Once a month, it's
Mhm.
pretty much a talk show, kind of like this, but we invite guests on and we drink. And I'm
Nice.
really good at drinking and talking, so love that.
Yeah.
Every odd Friday, I do Push Fridays on Proper Chicago, and every even Thursday, I'm on the Y After Hours as well. So I like to spin. I like to take on way too much. Oh yeah, and I'm doing a raid train with Norbski in April. So that's gonna be fun.
Me too.
Whoa,
Wait. Wait,
weird.
wait, wait. Are you talking about 174?
Yeah, that one.
Or yes, yes, I am. I'm gonna be doing talk shows like that, chatting between the sets, sometimes with Norbski, sometimes by myself. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
that's
Yeah.
gonna be so much fun. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, there'll be more information coming up. But yeah, April 17th, because the UK writes their dates differently. They would say it's the proper way. They write 17-4. Well, guess what that is? 174, amazing beat, amazing BPM for drum and bass. So they're doing a gigantic raid train. It's going to be super fun. And the star of the show is Mickey Finn. Mickey Finn is going to be doing a set, and he's going to be doing an interview. So, yeah, it's going to be dope. You guys will hear more about it as things go on. But one of the best ways you can keep up to date with that is by following Norbsky, because she will talk about it on her streams, and she's also a great follow. She's doing really fun stuff on Twitch. So, yeah. Okay, Friday, April 23rd is the next Up Close and Proper with Distinct at Proper Chicago DNB. Ben, the if you want to shout the proper stream, please do. The shout out command is available for anybody in the chat. So yeah, please feel free to do that. I'm all about promoting everyone here, y'all. That's what we're here for. Build each other up. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. This has been a blast, an absolute blast. And now I know why I love doing this and why I am happy to do it 2 days a week. It's absolutely worth it.
That's awesome.
It's a really good time. Yeah.
Can I leave you with one last anecdote, one more story?
Please.
I love storytelling.
Please.
Great.
Yes, please.
So on Saturday night during mine and Ryan's set is when we found out that my kids were no longer suited for cribs. And I can tell you a little bit about how that rolled out. I was DJing. I had my headphones on and I saw Ryan like look up the stairs and then all of a sudden he ran. And I said, oh, that's kind of funny. And he came back down and he waited until I was done and he said, so the kids are ready to get out of their cribs. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I guess they must have climbed out. That's what happens, right? Kids climb out, then you know they're not ready for cribs. And he said, well, yes, but both of them climbed out and I found them upstairs in our room watching TV. And one of them had our humidifier and was dumping water everywhere. The other one had a pair of scissors and was cutting the air as violently as possible. And I was like,
oh no.
Sweet.
No.
Yeah, so it turns out kids are a lot of work. I would recommend them 50% of the time, but the other 50% of the time it's tough.
Yeah. Another time, remind me to tell you the story about my friend's triplets.
Oh my God.
That's all you have to say, and I will vividly remember this particular story. It is
man. Okay.
right
I'm
now,
gonna text
and
myself that
yeah,
because I got to know because just hearing triplets makes my like literally I don't think my heart is beating anymore.
yeah. Well, at least it was like a one and done pregnancy. So
Yeah,
there's
fair
that.
enough.
But 3 at a time, no thanks. No thanks. Well, yeah, thanks again. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to raid into you. I'm super into it.
See you guys later. Have fun.
Okay, see you soon. Okay, bye. Well, that was a blast. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I loved it. Thank you guys so much for being here. And man, Canada showed up and showed out. I love you guys. I love you guys for doing this. I have to tell you, like, Distinct was saying that, she's really gotten to know Mrs. Pimp, and how would she have done that before? Mrs. Pimp is in Chicago. I have never had Canadian friends except once many years ago, a DJ in Canada. She spun drum and bass. She was amazing. But yeah, so this is fantastic to get to know this whole other piece of the world. I mean, we have Darth Liquid's hot sauce contingent, and yeah, which somehow French toast is involved with that, and I like it. I'm all about it. So yeah, oh yeah, Base Colony is Mr. Pimp, in case you've been wondering. I know bees have places to stay all over Western Canada. Yeah, and you guys have someone to show you around for barbecue in Texas. So I'm super excited to say that this Saturday, my guest is going to be Base Colony. Really, really excited about that. I can't wait to talk to him. He is another super fun streamer. who also enjoys alcohol and gets to be uh, even more bouncy and entertaining sometimes. Uh, Sometimes when you know, he's been drinking a little more. I love it. I can't wait to sit down and talk with him, find out more about him. I'm actually really excited that Saturdays are starting to offer that as an opportunity. Thank you for the bid. No request. You know what? Let's roll back here. DJ Seek, I don't even know how many bits you did total tonight, but holy shit. Thank you so much. Hey, Jen Symmetry, really good to see you. Thank you so much for the follow. I really, really, really appreciate that. Ransom, thank you for the follow. DJ Seek, DJ Seek, DJ Seek, amazing. No request with the bits and the gift subs. Amazing. Dr. Ketamine Cat, fantastic. Love it. 5 bits. What? What? Um, yeah, this is amazing to me. Oh yes, LM1, thank you so much. And Mrs. Pimp, you guys are just you're just amazing. And please let me apologize because when I am here with my guests, I find it really difficult to try and stop my guests to acknowledge you, but I want to acknowledge you. I don't want to ignore you, and I'm still learning. After, what this is my 17th interview, I'm still trying to figure it out. That's life, I suppose, right? I thought I'd have everything figured out by 45, and sadly, that has not been my experience. If anybody else knows how to figure it all out, please let me know. Oh yeah, also upcoming while I have Canada crew here is E-Town Junglist is coming. If he's still here, I think we said April 13th. Yeah, April 13th is the date for that. So I'm super excited about that. And next Tuesday we have Tic Tac from Church of Drum and Bass. So that's going to be awesome. And I can't wait for him to tell us the story about his mad adventures with Qbert streamjacking his stream and then him ending up going over to Qbert's house. That is going to be amazing. I can't wait to hear more about that. Thank you, Mrs. Pimp. I love a lurker. I lurk all the time. So yeah, um, I really just appreciate you guys so much. I'm just pulling out my phone here because I want to see. I want to make sure that as soon as Distinct is live, we are rating in, and my little raid button on my stream manager, it always does me wrong. It never shows me everyone that is that is available. It's awful. Kitty, thank you so much for being here. Yes, Mrs. Pimp. Then we get some Distinct. I'm super excited for you guys to see her. I'm excited to watch her. For real, this is how good a DJ she is. Honestly, I swear to you, she plays music that I would typically not choose to listen to, but she plays it in such a fun way. I really love her passion really comes through. And DJ Seek is also a great DJ. They have both of them such an amazing vibe. They're just, I don't know about y'all. I don't come to Twitch to be serious all the time. Life for the last 12 months has been plenty serious enough. And they just bring a really, really, really great vibe. And thank you all for the very nice things that you say. I really enjoy doing this. And once again, I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. It allows me to keep doing this, and yeah, I mean, I just love it. One more time while we're on it, celebrate my birthday next month. Every bit, every sub, everything for March and April is going to be donated to NAMI in the US and Mind in the UK. Those links right there are for direct donations. If you go through Tiltify, that money does not come to me. I never touch it. You can know that it goes straight to the charity. Obviously, I love your bits. I love your subs. And all of that money is going to go to the charities, but Twitch does take a portion of that. So, um, but do whatever you want, do whatever you can. If you can't do anything, don't even worry about it, man. This is just like an added bonus because I don't need gifts. I'm like living a gift right now. That's that's kind of the way that I see it right now. Just getting to be able to do this is being able to do this is a gift, honestly, for me. And yeah, y'all coming and hanging out with me is a gift, for sure. For sure. Father Fenris, thank you so much. I can't believe it took me so long to find you. You're amazing. Aw, Munchie, you're the best. I'm not that nice. Not really. At least I wasn't when I was a DJ. It's shocking I ever got booked. Um, so yeah, one more time, let's just plug. Saturday is Beat Specific Guru. I'm going to start at 9 a.m. Central Time. I've changed my stream time because 7 a.m. y'all was killing me. I can't do it. So 9 a.m. Central Time. Then Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central is going to be Tic Tac from Church of Drum and Bass. And then on the 13th, we're going to have E-Town Junglist. What happens in between? I don't know yet. I'm winging it, which is a brand new thing for me that 2020 has taught me, is to not overly plan so much and be so rigid, which is great. Kitty, thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate that. Now you have the Mad Love emote. I love seeing those emotes all over the place. I mean, have y'all noticed? Oh my God, not Beat Specific Guru, but we should get you on. Base Fanatic is on Saturday. Whoops. Thanks for catching that. Yeah, I don't think you've agreed to do that on Saturday. No, it's Base Fanatic. Yeah, have you guys noticed how many like love related emotes there are in the Twitch DMB community? It's kind of amazing. Um, like I think it says a lot about the community that we've got that. All right, guys, she's up. Distinct and Seek are up, so we are going to raid into them. If it goes weird, forgive me. Last time, for some reason, the raid went really bizarro on me. So, uh, I am not Instinct DNB. I am Distinct DNB. Okay, gonna start that raid. Let's see if it goes through. All right, excellent. We're going. I love you guys. Thank you. I hope that you are having a great week so far. And yeah, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you again. So I'm going to start the outro so you can see the graphic again with our guests. And yeah, much love to all of you. See you next time. See you Saturday. I can't wait.